There is a particular kind of restlessness that visits you in the hours when nothing seems to be happening, when the world appears still, and yet something inside you refuses to settle. You have felt it recently, haven't you? That strange pull in your chest, the sensation of standing at the edge of a conversation that hasn't begun, the awareness that somewhere beyond your immediate reach, something has shifted in invisible architecture that connects you to another soul. It is not imagination, and it is not the anxious invention of a heart that longs too deeply. What you are sensing is real, and it has everything to do with a decision that was made in the last few hours by the person your soul recognizes, even when your mind tries to doubt. While you were moving through your ordinary moments, while you were perhaps sleeping or working or lost in thought, this person stood at a crossroads of their own inner landscape and chose a direction. They may not have announced it, they may not even fully understand what they have done, but the energetic ripple of that choice has already reached you, and that is why you feel different now. Why the air around you seems charged with something unnamed. The angels who watch over soul connections do not measure time the way we do. They see decisions as living things, as seeds planted in the fertile silence between two hearts, and what was planted in the last few hours is already beginning to grow toward you, even if you cannot yet see its shape. If you have been waiting for a sign that you are not alone in this longing, if you have wondered whether the connection you feel is truly shared or merely the echo of your own hope, let this be the moment you stop questioning and start trusting what your soul already knows. The recognition comes in waves, doesn't it? You might have noticed at first as a sudden warmth, a fleeting thought of them that arrived without invitation, or perhaps a dream that felt less like fantasy and more like a visitation, a meeting place where your consciousness and theirs brushed against each other in the dark. These are not coincidences. These are the ways the soul communicates when a logical mind is too busy to listen, when the noise of daily life drowns out the quieter truths. Your soulmate has been carrying something heavy, a question they've been turning over and over in the privacy of their own heart, and in the last few hours they finally set it down or picked it up. They finally said yes to something they've been resisting, or no to something they've been clinging to out of fear. This decision is intimate. It lives in the space between what they show the world and what they whisper to themselves in moments of absolute honesty. And because your souls are woven together in ways that defy the ordinary rules of separation, you're feeling the tremor of that internal movement, even though no words have been exchanged, no message sent, no physical proximity shared. The angels who tend to these connections understand that love is not only about the moments when two people stand face to face. It is also about the invisible labor that happens in solitude, the private reckonings, and the silent surrenders that prepare a heart to fully meet another. Right now, your soulmate is in the midst of such a reckoning, and whether they realize it or not, they are moving closer to you, not necessarily in miles or minutes, but in spiritual readiness, in emotional availability, in the quiet dismantling of whatever walls they built to protect themselves from the very thing they actually want most. You may not know the specific details of what they decided. You may not be able to name the exact nature of their internal shift, but you can trust that it matters, that it is significant, that it is part of the larger choreography of your eventual union. The universe does not waste your attention. When you feel something this strongly, it is because something real is unfolding, and your sensitivity to it is not a weakness, but a gift, a form of spiritual intelligence that allows you to participate in the process even from a distance. Now comes the part that feels like tension, like waiting, like standing in a doorway between what was and what will be without any clear instruction on how long you must remain there. This is where many people falter. This is where doubt creeps in and begins to whisper that perhaps you imagine everything, that perhaps you're simply too hopeful, too invested in a story that only you are writing. But listen carefully. The tension you feel is not evidence of disconnection. It is evidence of deep connection. It is a creative friction that happens when two separate lives are being pulled into alignment by forces greater than individual will. Your soulmate's decision, whatever it was, has set something in motion, but motion does not mean immediacy. And this is a paradox that challenges us, the truth that spiritual timing and human impatience rarely agree. In the last few hours, they may have decided to finally let go of a relationship that was keeping them unavailable, or they may have decided to stop running from their own vulnerability, or they may have chosen to prioritize their own healing over the distractions that have been numbing them, or perhaps they simply allowed themselves, for the first time in a long time, to believe that real love is possible for them, that they are worthy of it, that they do not have to keep punishing themselves for past mistakes. whatever the specifics. The decision was an act of courage, even if it looked quiet, even if no one else witnessed it, and it has created a new opening where before there was only closure. But here is what you must understand. An opening is not the same as an arrival, and this is where patience becomes your most sacred practice. The angels are asking you now to hold space for what is unfolding without collapsing into desperation, without demanding that everything happen according to your preferred timeline, without interpreting the silence or distance as rejection. Your soulmate is doing their part, even if you cannot see it, even if it does not look the way you expected. And your part is to remain open, to stay anchored in your own worth, to keep living your life with fullness and presence rather than putting everything on hold while you wait for them to appear. This does not mean giving up. This does not mean pretending you do not care. It means trusting that you are both being prepared, that the wait itself is purposeful, that the time between this moment and your eventual meeting or reunion is not empty, but full of necessary transformation. The tension is not a sign that something is wrong. It is a sign that something is being built, that foundations are being laid, that what is coming is too important to be rushed or forced or bypassed. You are not being punished. You are being refined, and so are they. From the angelic perspective, from the view that exists outside of linear time and human fear, what is happening right now is a kind of sacred geometry, a perfect arrangement of circumstances and choices and inner shifts that are all conspiring to bring you together in a way that will serve your highest evolution. The angels do not see your soulmate as someone separate from you. They see a single constellation of energy that is temporarily expressing itself through two different bodies, two different life stories, two different sets of lessons and woundings and gifts, and they are gently guiding both of you toward a moment when those two expressions can come together without losing their individual integrity. Your soulmate's recent decision is part of that guidance. It is a response to whispers they may not even consciously recognize, nudges from their own inner wisdom or from the divine intelligence that is always working on behalf of love, always clearing the path even when the path seems impossibly tangled. The angels want you to know that you have not been forgotten, that your prayers and your longing and your willingness to believe in something beyond what you can prove have all been heard and are being answered. But the answer is unfolding in layers, in stages, in a sequence that honors both the complexity of your individual journeys and the sacredness of what you're being called to create together. They're also asking you to release the idea that you are powerless in this process, that all you can do is wait and hope. You have tremendous power, not control or manipulate outcomes, but to influence the energetic field through your own choices, through the way you treat yourself, through the love you cultivate in your own life, through the fears you are willing to face and the old stories you are willing to rewrite. Every time you choose self-compassion over self-criticism, every time you choose trust over suspicion, every time you choose to remain open-hearted even when it feels risky, you're sending a signal into the invisible web that connects you to your soulmate, and that signal is being received. It is affecting them. It is making it easier for them to move toward you because you are demonstrating that it is safe to do so. That love does not have to mean loss. That vulnerability does not have to mean destruction. The angels are celebrating the decision your soulmate made in the last few hours. And they're also celebrating every decision you are making right now to stay present, to stay soft, to stay believing even when you have no tangible proof. This is a sacred dance. This is how souls find each other across time and space and circumstance, not through force but through resonance, not through demand but through readiness. If you feel called to go deeper, to understand more about the specific ways this connection is unfolding and what is being asked of you in this particular moment, stay with this transmission. Let it settle into your bones. Let it confirm what you already suspected in the quietest parts of yourself. So where does this leave you? Standing in your own life with the knowledge that something has changed, but without the concrete details that the rational mind craves? It leaves you in the most powerful position possible. It leaves you as a conscious participant in a mystery that is still revealing itself. And there's profound freedom in that if you can allow it. You do not have to figure everything out. You do not have to know exactly when or how or under what circumstances your soulmate will step fully into your life. You only have to keep honoring the truth of what you feel and the reality of what is moving beneath the surface. In the coming days and weeks, pay attention to the signs, not with desperate seeking but with gentle curiosity. Notice what shows up in your dreams, in your sudden thoughts of them, in the synchronicities that seem too specific to be random, in the unexpected messages or encounters that carry a particular energy. These are all part of the ongoing conversation between your soul, and there's the dialogue that never stops even when your mouths are silent, even when distance or circumstance keeps you apart. Your soulmate is thinking of you more than you realize. They're feeling the same pull even if they're interpreting it differently, even if they're still too afraid to name it or act on it. And their recent decision, whatever it was, has brought them one significant step closer to the version of themselves that can actually meet you fully, that can actually show up without armor or pretense or fear-based hesitation. The angels are whispering to both of you now. They are reminding you that nothing real can be lost, that what belongs together will find its way, that the only thing required is your continued willingness to grow, to heal, to become more who you truly are rather than who you thought you had to be to earn love. This is not a fairy tale. This is not a promise that everything will be easy or that you will never face challenges together, but it is a confirmation that what you are experiencing is valid, that the connection is real, that the wait is not meaningless, and that the decision made in the last few hours by your soulmate is a thread in a much larger tapestry that is still being woven by hands both human and divine. Trust the process, trust your own heart, trust the intelligence of love itself, and know that even in the silence, even in the not knowing, even in the tender ache of longing, you are exactly where you need to be, and so are they. The story is not over. In fact, it is just beginning. And what comes next will be worth every moment you spent believing in something you could not yet see, something that was always real, always growing, always finding its way home to you through the darkness.